You got holes in your sock.
Yeah.
Oh my god, like through my head.
Let me hide it though. When you have a cartel.
Ew! How much did that fucking shirt cost you, mate?
Oh, I don't remember. I bought it a long time ago.
Too much.
I tried to buy one in Sydney and I was like, oh, this looks nice. $600. Like, okay, what the fuck is that?
Oh, it's Balenciaga as well?
Yeah, but like, not like that. It looks like a vintage. They look like
No,
a vintage
yeah,
one,
I should
actually.
say.
I don't know when I bought this one. Would have been like 4 or 5 years ago.
Damn, you had $400 to
Yeah,
spare
the
4
valuation.
years ago.
Oh, okay. So let's quickly talk about your role.
We went Rotto on the weekend, Shazza.
Oh yeah.
Adam's first time in Rotto.
All the couple cousins and then Adam.
It was so grim. It was
Yeah.
like...
Is everyone like, baby?
And Tina.
Well, no, it
and
wasn't.
Tina.
Oh, yeah, and Tina. It was more like I
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
realise it was couples until we got to Parakeet.
Oh, I didn't
And
realize
the
that was-
whole way there, even on the ferry, I was like, oh yeah, this is fine. It's a good group.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until we
No,
literally...
because on the ferry there was boys and girls.
yeah, it was almost like a year 9 social.
Yeah.
It's like boys
All
on the
next to each
side.
other in
River
two
cruise.
rooms.
Yeah. Well, we got there.
Yeah.
We got pushed back 45 minutes, which was already a bit shit.
Right.
I don't know. We got this
Ferry-
message like
ferry
right in
just-
the morning.
yeah.
They're like, "Oh yeah, your 10 a.m. ferries got cancelled." So
See you in the 10:45. I'm like, well,
yeah. So we're just like, I was already on my way down as well because I had to drop something off at my mate's house.
Yeah.
So I left the house at like 8:30, and I was like, "That's right. I need to drive down and drop something off in my mate's place in Auburn Grove, which is like Perth, Auburn Grove, Fremantle." So I was like, "All right, I can do that." And then I get this text on the way down. I'm like, "Oh, fuck." So I drove all the way down to Freo. We got delayed. Then we got to the ferry, and I couldn't even process that it was just like couples. So I'm like, "Oh yeah, this is cool." And we got the bikes, rode all the way to Parakeet Bay, and we got in the water, and I just like looked around, and I was like,
oh, is that when you realised?
yeah, that's when it clicked, and I was like,
Yeah, that's when it
Oh,
clicked for me
shit.
as well. Even though I was with Britt, I was in the water, and you know how everyone the water was freezing, and everyone just started like jumping on
Yeah.
their partners.
yeah.
That's so
And-
cute.
And we all kind of jumped in the same time, and everyone's on their partner, and then 4 of us surrounded Tina, and I looked at her and I was like, oh wait, this is like almost a couple's trip.
Yeah, and
Basically,
well, it wasn't until then, because I guess everyone just gravitates to their partner in the
Actually.
water.
Yeah.
And I was just like, holy fuck, this is just
Yeah, time to
4
pack my
couples?
bags.
Me and Tina. And I'm like, this is awesome.
You and Tina could have been like rave bays. Rave bays. Yeah.
Well,
just for the night.
Yeah,
just for the day.
I was like, yeah, it was a weird day, like weather-wise. Like, it wasn't particularly like hot.
Yeah, it was
But
cloudy.
it wasn't. Yeah, it was cloudy. It was still a bit warm though.
Good for biking, but not good for beaching.
Yeah. First impressions of Rotto was a bit like,
Oh,
I don't know, kind of like a little bit like a poor man's Bali.
A poor man's.
Very Aussie act. though.
Yeah, I feel like it's a white person place only. Like,
I feel like it's an island from like Surf's Up
yeah,
kind
like,
of thing. Yeah,
people that live there, I'm like, oh, brother, like that's.
like a total drama island kind of.
Yeah, right.
Well, how's your ankles feeling?
My ankle is cooked. So we ended up running down the dunes at Parakeet Bay. I don't know whose bloody brilliant idea it was, but it was like, oh, first of the water wins. But we saw these 3 kids.
Have a
doing
guess,
it.
who do you think said that?
You.
No, it's the guy.
Well, we
I always say that, but I never intentionally jump in first.
Yeah, well, we saw 3 kids doing it. So the 3 kids before us, like, were having fun. We're like, oh, we can do that. And the girls standing at the bottom just like trying to record us, and I was like, we're not running. Like, no one's running. We just sat there for like a good 10 minutes, just
Yeah.
like looking at the water. Then we ran down, and then we even said it as well. We're like, oh, we got to curve away, like turn left into the water, otherwise you jump with the rock.
You guys see that patch over there? Yeah, that's what we're
Yeah,
on.
that's what I run into. And I ran, like, banged for it, and I jumped straight in. Luckily, I didn't jump in head first.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And I was just like, for some reason, I was like, oh, I'll jump in feet first. And you know when you jump in the sand, you kind of like, I'm going to like dig my feet in and slow down. I did that, landed on my ankle, and
It's just hard. It's just rock.
It's just hard rock. Like,
It's
Yeah,
just
my-
solid rock.
Did you
Yeah.
go straight to the patch or did you turn left and it was still rock?
It's still rock.
No, it's
From up
still
there,
rock. I
the
think
patch looked like it was clear.
Yeah,
There's
so I-
not a single color in it. It's
Yeah.
just blue.
Like, that's why it was so dangerous, because we thought like we had avoided the rock, so
Yeah.
so we jumped in,
Like, it was
Like,
just there.
yeah, just full centered in, and then Adam just drop kicked like so solid.
Sorry.
Yeah, 'cause I watched him jump, and then instead of him singing, he just went just like bounce
kinda
off
bounced
the
Oh,
ground.
that's
Yeah.
It hurt so much. And I've broken my ankle before, and I'd say that's up there with the same level of pain.
The rest of the trip, Adam was just out. He's just sitting
Yeah.
on by the base, just
I was
out.
not having a good time.
Yeah, trying to bike back was just.
as well. You'd
Yeah. And since then, my right calf has been just like so tight. It's been
Twitching.
walking on my toes.
Yeah.
Oh,
But it's like I got scans in it, and they didn't say anything. So I was like, okay,
Oh.
yes, that's
Oh, you
fine.
got scans and everything?
Yeah.
It's good that you got
Just in case, because it started getting real dark and purple. I was like, oh, I better check this out. Yeah, then we got back, we had food, and I was like, in my head, I knew it in my head, I was like, only because I'd never been to Rottnest, I didn't want to say, oh, we should probably leave for the ferry.
Mm.
But we got to the, like, that bar at, I want to say like 3:30, 3:45,
Yeah.
and everyone was ordering food, and I was like, you're going to be on the ferry at 4:30.
yeah.
Everyone just kept going, and I'm like,
We
oh, okay.
fucked it. We ordered food, and then what? What time did we get to the ferry? Like 4:32?
4:28.
Oh, 28. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like 3 minutes late.
We were 2 minutes early, but they were like, oh, we'll close off the gate. You're late. Which I thought was a bit,
So,
like...
I reckon the only thing that fucked us is because Danny got chips.
Why?
Yeah, kidding.
I think they came out afterwards.
Oh, no, we took it away, though. We like instantly took it away before everyone
I
finished
need to
eating.
blame someone.
Oh, yeah, true.
Okay.
Yeah, my
It was
bad.
your fault. It's not my fault.
You gotta blame someone.
Your fault.
Who ordered food first? Ivy.
We all ordered it like at the same time,
Yeah.
and then it was all like pizzas or like it was all mains, and then I went up and I was like, oh, excuse me, how long would the chips take? Because the lady said 20 minutes for the food, and she was like, oh, 5 minutes. I was like, yeah, right. Can I get chips? And 20 minutes later, it's still not there.
Oh. But then everyone was still like kind of eating.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was fine. Then we had to wait an hour for the ferry. We got cancelled on like twice.
Good food, man.
Was it an hour? Hour and a half or something, right?
They cancelled it.
6?
Oh, did we take the 6?
Maybe it was a 6. I can't remember.
No, we got cancelled on the 4:30. He told us to go to the 5 o'clock.
Oh, it
Stayed
went
to
to
the 5 o'clock.
5:30.
But,
Yeah.
And then they were like, this doesn't go to Frio.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we'll choose.
At least every 30 minutes or something.
Yeah, and everyone drove, so.
Yeah.
Which is annoying because he was like, oh, you can stand on the standby line and wait. And I think we all had the feeling that, like, oh, we can get on this. There's no one coming. And then this school of like 50 people just lined
Yeah,
up.
no, some bloke came on
Yeah.
and was like, yeah, just for the next 90 people.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god.
I don't even know.
So there was
what
like
kind
2
of
lines,
food-
right? Yeah, pretty much. There was 2 lines, and then they were like, oh, you're on the standby line, so if there's space afterwards and people miss out, then you can come on. We checked online, and it said that
It was fully
it was a
booked,
fully
yeah.
booked place.
Yeah.
So like, we're not making it. And then there was like also like 30 people behind us in the standby line.
Yeah.
We're looking at the people going like, yeah, you're not getting in, brother.
Yeah. I think
And-
it was 2 or 3 at the end that didn't make
There was
it
only
on.
2. They left. They took all 28 people except for 2.
everyone
Yeah.
except
Which makes no sense.
Just add on the 2
Just
people.
squeeze them on.
They
For
can
2
stand.
people, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
The weight balance might
Do you
upset
reckon? Do you reckon that was like a people limit, or they just did like a weight limit?
I don't think so because
They'd
that
wait on
was
people standing.
that boat, that second boat that we were on, wasn't as packed as the first one we came on.
Yeah.
I thought the first one we came on there was way more people standing.
Yeah.
But
Because we missed the 10 o'clock one, so all the people from 10 went on the 10:45 with
They
the
can do it,
10:45.
yeah.
Yes, they can do
they
it. Yeah.
can do
It's
it. They
probably a
just
bit-
chose not
They
to.
Hour
just did-
trip.
Yeah.
Probably the
Guys,
one
oh, bro, the guy was acting like Britt was saying hell racist because
oh yeah.
every Asian that
Did
walked
not like
up,
us.
he was just like speaking hell slowly and pronouncing his
Yeah.
words and
I hate
enunciating everything.
You have to buy the ticket and go at 4:30. I was like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's like, yeah,
Standby
just
line.
Okay, don't worry. I was like, what the fuck, man?
My man,
No
died.
worry.
No worry, no problem.
And then as soon as a white guy comes, he just goes, fucking come in,
Yeah,
mate.
come on, Mark. No worries. But I think the one
So
takeaway
weird.
on the ferry back, I was like amazed that people swim, like the Rottnest swim.
The whole swim. Oh
Yeah, like that is so fucking far. Like it's a good, what, 40 minutes on the ferry?
Yeah.
40, like 30, 40 minutes on the
Yeah,
ferry.
34. Yeah.
That's like a day swim at best.
Oh, I would have passed that like 10, 20,
Yeah.
30 times, maybe.
Like I've tried swimming in open water and it feels like you're going nowhere. Like
It's just you going nowhere.
Yeah, literally it's not moving. And I'm like, nah, this is insane. Yeah. But they cancelled the road swim, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the conditions are pretty bad. So
Dude, I wouldn't even do it on like a kayak.
Mm,
Let alone
yeah.
Fucking like
kayak is
water
already
swim.
I'm
tough.
too
Yeah.
scared of open water as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't
I would say that's arguably one of like the most dangerous places to be. Yeah.
Yeah, open water.
In open water.
Oh, but no, because there's so many boats there for safety. No
No, but-
sharks are coming.
It's
I'm just scared.
I'm scared of jellyfish, let alone sharks, man. Like,
What do you mean, drag?
It's such like
Yeah, I'm
open
just
water.
scared.
Like if
Yeah,
the
like
head just
shark.
disappears.
Yeah.
How are you actually gonna know?
I think you have to
Thousands of people are swimming.
I think.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying like
I think it's teams, yeah.
yeah, you can do teams.
You're not supposed to swim like the whole thing in one go.
You can. So if you get the number plate, if you swim by yourself, you get the number plate. So if you see anyone with an RCS number plate, it's Rottnest Channel swim, and you get a solo crossing. So
Fuck that.
yeah, so you do it by yourself, but you
Fuck
can
that,
do
just
it.
pay $40 and get a ferry.
Yeah, so you can do it in groups
Yeah.
of 4, and apparently that's easier because you can just rotate out.
Yeah.
So you're only swimming
That'd be nice.
or a quarter of the way, and you take breaks.
Yeah.
Whereas these
Still
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I think my boss and one of our senior managers have done it by themselves, and it is like insanity.
It's probably still alive.
Like,
Yeah.
fit as hell, like,
Well, I wouldn't have thought my boss is. He doesn't look like a.
didn't.
Yeah, but my senior manager was like he was I think a Navy SEAL and stuff.
Oh, but fair enough.
So he's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he's built for that kind of shit.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
my boss is like you wouldn't think so.
I see.
Yeah,
That is
it's very impressive though.
Yeah, I would never do that.
Nah. I
probably
get tired in my 25-minute pool.
Yeah.
I do one lap, still water, and I'm like,
I get tired walking to the beach.
yeah.
Dude, and also like I swear every time I swim, right, I always drink water, and it was very gross when it was like pool water,
Yeah.
but now it's like
Salt.
straight salt.
Oh,
You know what I mean? It's like, oh,
And this is like, I went to Rottnest, that's Friday, again. So I went to Rottnest twice
In 1 week.
2 weeks,
2 weeks.
in a week.
never went before, then went
never been
twice in a
before,
week.
yeah.
Yeah.
But we ended up going back on the Swan River, and we went on this biscuit behind the boat, and absolutely
Oh,
ate
oh.
water.
Oh.
Ate so much, and I think the first thought in my head was like, this is where every living thing just shits and pisses in.
Yeah.
That just
Yeah,
like
that's-
grossed
yeah.
me out. I'm like,
That's one way to think of it.
yeah.
now it's in your mouth.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of like touching the floor either.
Like seaweed.
Yeah, that grosses me out. Like, and jellyfish, that grosses me out. Everything.
Mm.
Oh, bro, yeah, I can't do jellyfish. I've like been in the water before, and then I've like moved my arm, and you see like the floppy
Yeah.
shit. Oh,
Nah.
fuck that.
Well, I think that's where I got this from. I woke up the next morning and had these scratches, and I don't know where I got that from. But I got this as well. So if you
Oh my god.
see that,
That's not from
no,
Rottnest,
this
is it?
is from cliff jumping.
That is-
So
When?
we went cliff jumping on Friday.
Oh, I was
So,
like, fuck.
yeah, jumped. And I got one on my butt too. One
Yeah, I
on my
noticed
leg.
that. I was like, that can't be from Rotto.
Yeah, it dominated.
Yeah. Okay. Where did you cliff jump?
That was from last
Barker
night.
Point.
Okay. How many meters?
Oh, 5? Maybe
5
6.
meters. Oh, okay,
We
okay.
wanted to do 12 at
We need to take it
Yeah.
back.
What the fuck?
Honestly,
Out of
like
Blackies.
once you're up that high,
Yeah, fuck
it's
that.
like it's incredibly scary.
You're not supposed to look.
Yeah.
Just jump.
Wait, people
Yeah.
don't.
Well, standing from the
No,
bottom,
no,
I
you just
was
you
like,
just send your friend over first, and then you're like, hello, and they're like, yeah, it's good, and then you just go.
Oh, if you look excited.
Yeah.
I would not know. I would not do
Dude,
that.
if you look, with it, apparently it's like within the first 3 seconds. If you look within the first 3 seconds, you'll know like, if you're gonna jump or
well, I looked and I was like, I'm not jumping. Everyone was there, and I was
not.
like,
You need a lot of people
I
to
have
call you a
jump
pussy.
now.
Yeah.
Wait, so how'd you get it? You just landed wrong on the water, or?
Did you
Yeah.
fucking somersaulted? Like
No,
I think you're like the type of guy that just be like.
I could never. I would just. I'm scared of like snapping my neck doing something like that. So I'm just gonna do the traditional bombing, but then
traditional
Yeah.
bond.
Additional bombing.
yeah, but then yeah, no, it hurts like a bitch.
How do you go to Rottnest twice in a week and just injure yourself both times?
Oh yeah, I know. And I've got Japan in 3 days. I'm just like nervous.
Wait, you're leaving in 3 days?
Yeah, I leave on Tuesday.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm flying out on Tuesday. Got
Recovery.
2 weeks.
It's a recovery vacation.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna have to walk 20k steps a day, just limping. So my right calf is gonna be like huge when we come back.
Yeah, boy.
Excellent. What is your work thing if you're leaving like
Oh,
fucking mid-March?
Yeah, it's
Because you
not
work
like-
in the real estate
yeah.
industry, correct?
It's annoying because so my job is kind of based on when we launch projects
Okay.
and in a quiet period of the project, they don't mind. Like if we sold out, so if we start a project in October, it usually takes us 3 years to sell it. But if we manage to pull something out of our ass and sell it within 6 months, my boss has said you could take off the next 2 years and come back after that. But obviously that never happens.
Yeah.
In a perfect world you could, but so at the moment we launched last October, and we're selling ever since, and we need to get to a certain amount of dollars to start the build. And I've been waiting for the second launch for months to come so I can obviously get more money. But then my mates wanted to book Japan, and I was like, alright, I'll just book it. And it just coincides that the second launch will be happening next weekend, and I'm gone. So not only is this trip going to cost me quite a bit just to go, just the opportunity cost of not being here is already pretty high.
Yeah.
My managing director doesn't know I'm going yet.
You're leaving in 3 days? Oh, yeah.
But my manager knows. He's already approved my leave.
Oh, okay.
Because he approved it, 6 months ago?
Oh, yeah. When it was
3 months ago.
Yeah.
But,
I can't really blame you for it, I guess.
yeah, managing director just like talking. He's like, oh, you gotta be really excited. You gotta be ready for this. And I'm like, yeah.
What do you mean when you say there's like a second round of?
So the first time we launch a project is when we pretty much have the project available to buy. The main launch is when we actually put it out to the public and say, look, if you have inquired with us before, you can come through and inquire now. And then the third one, which is the second one, is just more, we pump more money into the project marketing wise. So the next 3 weeks, there should be a couple hundred leads coming through.
Yep.
But it won't be there. So, yeah.
Well, you've been in there for like, what, 2-3 years now?
5 years.
5 years. Fuck!
Yeah.
Almost 5 years. So
I'm trying to get an entry first year kind of thing.
Yeah, so all this will be 5 years.
You kind of watch like WA's real estate industry just like go up and down then over the last 5 years.
I would have joined right before the big jump.
Mm-hmm.
So right at the end of the cycle going down.
Yeah.
And then the cycle, when I started, would be going up.
Yeah.
The problem is that the cycle should have started going down last year.
I see.
But because of COVID, supply chain, I guess workforce issues, like it's just not going down. So I'll probably stay on that for another 2, maybe 3 years. But any property expert that tells you what they think and say, oh, this is what's going to happen, like just talking out their ass. Like no one actually knows.
It's
Like,
all opinions, right?
It's all opinions.
Yeah.
Like you can kind of base your opinion off general economic factors and be like, okay, based on this and this is what could happen and what should happen. But anyone says, oh, this is like property's gonna go like this in the next 20 years, no one actually fucking knows.
So what do you guys look for when you're trying to, I guess, like scope out whether the economy is going to go up or down? Like, what are the trends that you're looking for?
I guess supply, costs of build, land values as well. So for us, we tend to develop in areas that are fairly low density. So somewhere like City Beach would be awesome because if you look at City Beach as a suburb,
So much land.
well, it's so much land, but the houses are so big. So
Yeah.
it's almost like the amount of, the way we kind of work out places to scope out are the amount of people per square meter per suburb.
Oh, just like population density.
Yeah,
Okay.
per suburb. So if you look at City Beach, the population density is what? 1 person for every 1,000 square meters of space. Whereas if you go to like, I don't know, East Perth, because there's so many apartments there, or South Perth, or even Rivervale, like those areas that have a lot of apartments, you're looking at 1 person for every 60 square meters. Because it's like there's just a lot more people in that area, so it just means that the value of the land will probably, well, it's a fight to the bottom if you're going for Rivervale. So but if you go to areas that people need to downsize into, like a lot of our buyers are hoarded downsizers, like people like your parents. Where they have a big house, can't really do stairs, can't really do maintenance. They want to downsize to something they can live into.
Literally right next.
Go on holiday. That's the kind of demographic that tends to buy with us. But they're really asset rich, but cash poor, and they really want to get rid of like a big house. And I get so many clients that are like 80, and they bought their house in like 1960 for like 3 packs of peanuts and a bag of jellies.
Right.
Yeah, housing was so much better.
All I hear about is just how like the generation above us like did so well because they bought a fucking like a big plot of land.
Like forget
Yeah.
inflation, it was actually so much easier.
Yeah, for literally like $25 and a pack of Winnie Blues, and I was like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
And they're trying to tell us like,
Yeah.
how
You gotta save.
you gotta save. Like the house is the best investment,
It would
but it's
take
like,
you like a couple years, like even back then in like 2-3 years to have enough to buy a place.
Yeah.
Or now we got to fucking save
Yeah.
so much more.
Well, the only problem with Perth is that I think we're the longest city in the world, right? So like it's weird. Like out of the
What do
whole,
you mean longest?
like out of the entire world, we are the longest like urban sprawl. So we go as far as what? Two Rocks, Queen's Rock, Alkimos, and we go as low down.
Oh, that's what you mean. Yeah.
So we're just
about
so
girth.
yeah, we're so lengthy, but we have no girth.
Yeah, no,
So
just
no one wants.
girth.
Yeah, no
That's
one wants
the
to
best.
buy. Like no one will buy like in Midland. Like the real.
Like a fencing sword.
Yeah, like Midland's probably like the furthest people go. Gidgana, but once
Yeah.
you get that past the hills, so no one really
Yeah.
buys past. Like I don't know anyone that lives over the hills. Like you live either on the hill or
Yeah.
like close towards the beach. So people will buy like a $300,000-$400,000 home, or they'll build out in Alkimos, which is like 45 to an hour out from the CBD, which for us is fucked. Like
Yeah.
no one's gonna do that. Whereas if you go to Sydney and Melbourne, people will drive. It's only an hour out from the CBD because it's so condensed. Like to drive, like if you want to go to Bondi Beach, it's a day trip.
Yeah.
Like you're
Yeah.
not fucking.
Yeah,
Like
no,
you're not
it
just
was
popping
good.
down.
Yeah, I
It's
remember
phenomenal.
that,
Yeah, you're not
Right.
driving down like an hour and like, oh, just have a swim for an hour and I'll go home. Whereas like here, if you want to go to Scarps, you're just like, I'm gonna have a dip, fucking
Fucking
hour.
Let me drive 40
Yeah,
minutes,
yeah.
get
Yeah.
a dip. That is true.
That's so true.
Yeah, so it's very
No
different.
one else
You
would
spend
do
more
that.
time traveling than you actually spend like at
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you actually spend so much time in your car traveling in Sydney. So if you work in the CBD, it's normal to live in like Blacktown, where you live like an hour away, and that's
Yeah.
normal. Like 2 hours commute per day is normal. Whereas here, it's like
I have a friend that worked at lives in Rockingham. He takes 2.5 hours to get here, but I think it was originally from somewhere east. Maybe I could be
Yeah.
wrong. That's probably why.
it's normalized.
Yeah.
Whereas for us, it's like anything over 20 minutes from me, I'm like, nah, sorry,
Yeah,
like
I'm the
this is too
same.
far. So I think that the problem is that it's becoming more normal because the cost is so high, right? So if you
Yeah,
want to buy
yeah.
in North Perth and be 10 minutes from the CBD, it's like $1.5 million to buy a house that was built in 1980
Yeah.
and hasn't
Yeah.
been touched.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
shit.
Like a really old Federation home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always why people are like, oh my god, I love the character.
Probably no door.
I love the personality. The personality is like the homeless man. It's
I
giving
love how it has that
personality.
crack down the roof. I'm like, nah, man.
So autistic, bro.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. People buying like abandoned houses now, right?
Yeah.
And just like trying to renovate them for much, much smaller.
Well, it's kind of like if you compare New York and Texas. Like New York, you can buy a $50 million penthouse that has awesome views over Central Park, or you can buy like a $50 million mega mansion which has like 4 guest
Oh, I
homes
see
and
what
a
I mean.
pool
Yeah.
in Texas.
It's because New York is so expensive
Yeah,
to live in.
and it's just the
Such a high cost.
convenience
Renting in
of
New York is
location.
better.
Yeah, even
Than
then,
owning.
have you seen all those people that study in New York and they have like the world's smallest apartment?
Oh,
and it's
yeah,
costing like
yeah.
$2,000
It's
a
literally
week.
like
You're
that.
What the
Yeah,
fuck?
It's like your shower.
Yeah, it's like this.
Yeah.
They have to have their bed here, and then it gets raised, and then like a table comes through here,
Yeah, it's
and that place costs them like $1,000 and a bit. Like it's just stupid.
And it's
I guess
just-
they're grinding,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
it's
I
a
guess.
scarcity of land though, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
if you go into New York, you can't just
How to get your dreams in New York?
like you can't just buy a block of land in New York.
Yeah.
It's all owned by like kept in families for ages.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's like the land's so scarce that if you want to live there, people can charge whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, yeah. People still go because it's just New York.
Yeah.
So it's
Whereas
like their
here,
most
it's
iconic.
like it's expensive, but if you want to pay $300,000, there are options at $300,000.
Yeah, yeah.
You can just go bump up the hill and live there. Whereas
Yeah.
if you live here, live in New York, you don't have that choice. You just
Yeah.
have to either rent or own.
That's why everyone says like, oh, people come to Australia and start in like Melbourne, Sydney,
Mm.
move a little bit further down, and then if not, they moved over here
Yeah.
to Perth.
Well, in Sydney, there's way more money over there, right?
Yeah.
It's like Sydney is a well-recognized city that actually has money coming through. Like it's Melbourne City are like the epicenters of the big four, right? So if you want to do finance or anything
Mhm.
globally, you have to go to Melbourne City. You
And
can't
tell
do
me
it
about
shit
it.
here.
Mm. Tell me about
Whereas if you're like,
every opportunity.
yeah, here's great if you're like in the mining sector because that's what
Yeah.
all we have.
Mm.
We're like Hungry Games and we're like the town of mining,
Mm.
where they're all the towns of other shit. So
Yeah.
like I can see why people move across here because it's cheaper. Like I had a client that was 27, and his dad's like his granddad was some like tycoon or something, and he had a house near Bondi, which was honestly a shithole. Like I looked at it on like realestate.com. Like it looked like a shithole. Like there was like
shit.
yeah, but he had on the market for $3.5 million.
Jesus.
Like it was no bigger than like the size wise probably about the same area as this top floor, but just the finishes was
The
like
filth.
yeah, like he had
Old, terrible color.
yeah like
cracking.
holes in the floorboards and everything. Like it looked like no one had touched it since it was built. Like the
Well, you're paying for the land, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to get an area that's close to the beach.
What if I know how to build? I just started building over there. What are you gonna do?
You can teach
Yeah,
yourself.
you probably could. Like if he had
But watch the kids on YouTube.
Mate, look, that land's not been
Yeah.
bought for 6 years. Right? What if I just buy some bricks and build a house?
why
Like,
has
what
that
are they
been
gonna
bought though?
you know that
do? Don't know. I need the
It's
car.
fucking
We need
car
the-
park.
Yeah, it's the car park for us. If that gets bought, I don't know where the hell our car.
Yeah, no, seriously. Like,
We're at Kiran's house.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to park. Anyway.
What's in the park?
For
Obviously, just like
reference.
all around.
For reference, Danny's whole family parks across the street on this empty lot.
Yeah, it's been an empty
Sorry.
lot for like the last 12 years.
Does someone own that?
I have no idea. But if there wasn't,
Think about it. Someone's like, wait, no one owns this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's a rule where it's like, I can't remember what I learned it in uni, and it was like, if a homeless person lived on that for like, I think it was like 15 or 20 years and no one had said anything, it just belongs to them.
15 to 20 fucking years
Fuck.
living in sand.
Yeah. So it's almost like a right of possession or something. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Well, yeah, I mean, they stuck it out for 20
Yeah,
fucking
it's
years.
saying along the book somewhere that
Yeah,
says
it was
that.
almost
yeah.
like if like a homeless person took up a corner in the city and just slept there for 20 years. After 20 years, it becomes like
They're
Their
called-
that's
territory. Their territory.
place.
Oh, that's the long
They need
game.
to name it.
It's a long game.
Yeah,
It's a long game.
Yeah.
No, just to backtrack, I only asked because I had like a lengthy conversation with my parents the other day, and they were like, the number one best thing for you to do is to invest into property.
Oh,
And I was kind of just like looking them in the face, and they just kept comparing the prices that they used to spend when they first bought property,
Yeah.
as opposed to what I
it
spent.
was good back then. It's not good
Yeah.
now.
And it will always be the largest investment and purchase of your life, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like there's always like this pressure for our ages to start getting into buying property as soon as possible. And I was like, you probably see firsthand like people who don't even really know if they want this or not, but they just like do it anyway because
Because back then you couldn't have no knowledge, still get a property and still make profit.
It's just like-
single income just to buy a home nowadays is
Yeah.
300,000.
Yeah.
I was like,
It's
are
just
you
not the case
fucking-
these days.
It's
There's
crazy.
so much better ways to make money.
It's more like, when are you ever going to have a situation in history in Perth where you can buy an asset and it will 10x?
Yeah.
Like
Only
never.
back then when we were developing as
Yeah.
a country.
So that's not a thing anymore.
Yeah, like if you bought a house in 1970 for 50 grand, that house is probably now worth closer towards at least 500 grand,
Yeah,
if
and
not
then,
more.
and then like you see all the houses in Sterling, how they used to
Yeah.
be so cheap because they were so
Yeah.
far away, and now they're
Yeah.
all like millions and two
Well,
millions.
that's the only reason why property goes up, right?
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
because of
Becomes
the
more central.
scarcity of land and the growth of population.
Mm.
So if the population in Perth triples over the next, 20, 30 years, then there could be another 10x. But, like, the cost of raising a child now is way more expensive.
Yeah,
Like, back, 20 years ago, there would have been the opportunity for people to be like, oh, I want my fourth kid. I want to go for 3 kids, 4 kids.
probably 7 or 8, bro.
Yeah, like that was normal to have multiple kids per household.
Yeah.
Whereas now, younger couples are like they're either getting married later because it's not as common to get married at 16. Well,
Yeah.
like my parents, me and I got married. Like, oh, actually, no, my parents got married later. My
Yeah.
auntie got married at 16.
Yeah.
So it's just like
Nice.
and they've got 4 kids, 5 kids. So that's normal for
Was he 16?
No, he was 18.
Hey.
Fucking naughty boy. Typical. Yeah, but it's like the households back in the 1980s, 90s, like normal to have 4 or 5 kids per household.
Yeah.
Whereas now people are like, to send your kid to school, to daycare, it's like 40 grand a year.
Mm.
It's well, maybe not that much, but I know you get
So
subsidised.
Please tell me you
It's-
guys know about the subsidy though.
Yeah,
You know what?
it's subsidized.
Okay,
for
thank
it.
God.
No,
I was like, are you sending your kids for $40,000 a year?
So if you have a kid, you get subsidized.
It's like 90%.
Yeah, which is good.
Which is great.
Yeah.
It's like less time with the kid.
Mm.
You know.
Yeah, it's just like if you're gonna do that, having multiple kids now, you're just balling. Like people almost don't even want kids now. They're just like, oh, I'm good. I can have my bloodline here.
Extending your family is literally a privilege.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just now there's not a need for the population to expand. If anything,
Because it's too much.
yeah, government restrictions are trying to keep the population tighter. They don't want it to keep going further and further. Just because and it probably will. I mean, in 20 years, I wouldn't be surprised if like the furthest northern home is still like maybe a good 5-10 minutes away from the top.
Yeah.
But
It's still developing. It's just not as quick
Yeah.
paced as it was from the 1970s to like 2000s kind of era. Yeah.
which is kind of where we come in. 'Cause I think we're finding it's going to be more and more popular for older people to live in apartments. There's been
Yeah.
a stigma where they're like, oh, I hate apartments. No one will live in an apartment shoebox. Whereas now it's just like, because we do slightly bigger ones and they can afford it, they're like, oh yeah, like we can see ourselves in an apartment. And it opens up a house. The only sticking point I can find is someone that lives in City Beach and they own a $5 million house. They're like, oh cool, I'll sell this
I'll be right back. Sorry.
and I move into a smaller apartment that's still big enough for us. That still costs like $5 million. But then who around Perth has capacity to buy that $5 million house that's young enough to still kind of...
We used to be like his neighbor.
Yeah, exactly. Who's just as old.
Yeah.
But then I think it might be a chain reaction where like an old person will buy it. Someone in their 70s and 80s will sell their $5 million house. Someone in their 50s and 60s will buy the $5 million house, release their $2 million house, and then a younger family with one kid might buy that $2 million house.
Yeah.
That might release a $500,000 house.
Yeah.
As long as it's all closer towards the CBD or like growth areas, then it'd be good. But the problem, like the trap that people fall into in Perth that I find is like younger buyers will almost be too impatient to buy a property and they'll buy it like outcomes. Or they'll buy...
It'll be up, right? Like,
Yeah.
it'll be like at its max price, essentially.
Well, yeah, they'll buy in the middle of nowhere, an
Yeah.
area that they don't have any friends or family. They're not close to work, but they'll buy in there because it's like, I need to buy a property now, and I'm gonna buy something cheap.
Damn!
Good morning,
What's up, bro? Nice to show up.
It's like,
He
no,
just what? He didn't go out. He just slept in.
Just slept in.
I just-
Sometimes
you
you
need it.
woke up and then was like,
Did
oh,
you
I
sleep?
still got some minutes. Went back to sleep and just like slept.
That's sometimes you need it, bro.
I'm sorry, bro.
Good.
Yeah. We're kind of
Kids
just...
on my.
What are we talking about?
we're talking about,
We're gonna backtrack like 5 seconds to just...
yeah, so pretty much, what are we talking about?
Oh, yeah, you got like...
Well, it's like younger people are being forced to buy houses in the middle of nowhere. And the problem is that when they want to resell it and move to a bigger house,
Sorry.
so say like Kai's parents, like you have to buy a house in the next 3 years.
That's exactly what they told me
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah, my parents are still in the same mindset. They're telling me like, "Oh, Danny, like our house is going up now." I'm like, "You don't know."
Yeah.
And we're paying people to like assess and trying to list it for us and things.
Yeah.
It's just a whole hassle. But then they're still in the same mindset. Like, then you should buy a house.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Like you should buy a house now.
there's
Then-
way more things you can do to make
Yeah.
more money.
It's kind of just like, if you have a fucking house, you just hold it for me. I'll buy it off you when you're like, when you're old and great.
And
'cause-
then I guess people get
Mates, right?
put into the
Yeah,
trap
mates,
where
right,
like,
mates, right.
I have to
Exactly.
buy a house. So they look at their income, they're like, fine, okay, if I go to the bank, the most I can probably get to buy a house would be like 500 grand.
Yeah.
Now, good luck finding anything 500 grand within 10 minutes of the CBD. That's
Yeah.
the reality of the fucking
If you
business.
buy it, good luck. You need to make money. You'll make money when you're 60.
Yeah, you might better find something in like an area like a Bayswater or a Morley for 500 grand, maybe.
Yeah.
If not, you might be like, oh, I just built a brand new house in the middle of two rocks.
Yeah.
And then the problem is that you build it, you buy it, and then 10 years down the track, you're like, you know what? I'm sick of two rocks. I want to
Yep.
move closer towards the city. And
Done.
that, if you
Easy
do
money
that for
gone.
10 years, you're doing fucking well. Like most people after like 3-4 years are like, bro, this is so far. I want to move back towards the CBD. So then you sell it, and in 5-10 years time, they're like, someone comes in and they go to two rocks. Like, I'm going to do the same thing. I want to buy a house. why the fuck would they buy your 5-year-old lived-in house? And they can build a brand new thing next door for the same price, like if not probably less.
There's no point. Yeah.
Like, so it's just like the value of that will never go up because there's just so much of the same shit around it that it's new. That's newer, and it's just like, okay, if I'm going to sell it, I'm going to have to either sell it for what I paid for it or less.
Yeah,
So
you
that's,
think of the risk of holding the house as well and like maintaining the house.
I'd almost say it's like,
most likely almost just break even.
Yeah, that's exactly. I was just watching a podcast from like a money guru.
Yeah.
And his name's like Ramit Sethi.
yeah,
Yeah, and he was just saying like,
he rents.
right nowadays all we do right is like glorify this like get rich quick. So you like buy a house and you expecting like, oh, if you don't like it, you can make like an income on it from renting.
Yeah.
But the truth is like, just to own a house, there's like so many other costs that come along with it, and people don't actually check.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People like don't check until
Like
the day they're
future
ready to
costs.
sign the contract.
They look more at buying price and then
Yeah.
when you sell it, and that's how much you make.
Buying
Yeah,
price,
there's like so many things.
Like right now, if we
Oh,
sell a
yeah.
house, mum would make like 600k, right, from what she first
Yeah.
bought to now. But then the cost of having the
Half
house
that
is
would be tax gone.
way more
Yeah.
than 600k.
Like the actual cost of maintenance.
Yeah, it's way
Cleaning,
more.
like, all
You'd have to clean the whole house, right?
Yeah.
You fix the whole thing.
The whole house.
Yeah, and then
Like the
just for you
bathroom
to move
alone
stuff
would cost
out.
you so much just on
Yeah.
the roofs and
Bro,
the
just to
water.
clean your skid marks. Fucking
Yeah.
hell.
Oh shit! Yeah, right.
So I can see why people buy like a really shit house property in like North Perth and do it up, because that might actually be a better outcome. But it's just like, I think once people, now that people realise that people are selling their North Perth house or like Wembley house for fucking tons, and they're like, oh, it's right, it's a door. It's $2 million, but like you spend like $100 grand here and there, you know, you get $4 million house. And I'm like, yeah, that's sick. You know what it is?
Thanks, bro. Who has $100,000 just lying around?
Oh mate.
Yeah, some people. I would say though, in Perth, there's stupid money. Like there is so much money, just in like, homes. Like all people that own homes. Like we were driving along the river on the boat, and just looking at like all the houses on the river. Like each of these homes here are like owned by CEOs, like managing directors. And I'm like, that makes me sick.
I had a friend in school who you know when you go to Scarborough and there's this beaches like literally across the main road looking at there.
Yeah.
And you know how the old mansions like 3-4 stories.
Yeah.
This was my first time getting invited to his house. I saw his address. I was like, oh shit. We're a minute walk away from Scarborough Beach.
Yeah.
I pull up and there's like 2 4-story mansions, like lavish and stuff. And his house is a 1-story shack. And his front door is a fly screen. It's not even a proper door.
Man, that's Australia.
Let's get insulation.
So he's a really good
It's
spot.
the best one you can be in the most shack-looking
Dude,
surfboard.
That's like when you spend.
His front door was open. I knocked it and then opened and I was
The
like,
handle fell off.
Dude, that's when you spend $8,000 to go to Japan and you have like
Yeah.
$100 left to eat food.
It's like, would you rather have the worst house on the best street or the best house on the worst street?
Worst house in Beth Street.
yeah, worst house in the best. Like that situation.
Yeah.
He was a surfer and he wakes up at 6 a.m., 5 a.m. every morning. He
I
just-
can't knock that. Like,
Yeah,
it's
he
not-
loves it.
Can you imagine having a real estate, like a mansion in Thornley?
Oh,
I'll give you
imagine
one
a
weekend.
replica.
Yeah, I'll give you one weekend.
I had a mate that was like, oh, I have
I'll
a
prime my
mansion.
mansion, bro. It's all good.
I had a mate that had a mansion in one room. And I was like, oh, cool, good for you. When do you ever... But he lived in the city.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, so you have this house you never go to that's awesome and lavish, but why don't you live there? It's like, oh, it's too far. I'm like, okay, well, there's like
There's your reason.
there's your reason to sell that
Yeah.
and then live in the city. Like, but then I think like, oh, we might move there eventually. But since then, I don't think they moved that. So yeah,
Time place.
but I'd say a lot of it's all like generational wealth, which makes me sick.
Yes.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, bro, must be nice.
Must be nice.
Yeah,
Comes from dirt.
yeah. To not have to come from dirt.
Dirt.
You know, just oh yeah, man. Like every PSA boy,
Yep.
virtually 90% of them are like, fuck. It's like, oh yeah, my dad has a yacht. I'm like, yeah, sick. Go fuck yourself.
The game is the game, bro.
Yeah, the game's
Yeah,
the
you
game.
guys
game.
today.
It's not my game, bro.
Yeah, game is game.
Alright.
Game's game.
Alright.
Alright, well, we'll
Welcome,
start a fresh
Dan.
one since Dan's here.
Yeah! Yeah, you made it. You still halfway, bro?
You're still
Nah, I'm
half
alright.
asleep, but-
Have you guys been to a restaurant called Bread in Common?
Yes, it's so fucking
Bread in
good.
Common,
good?
is that in Freo?
I fucking love
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I
place.
think I have it.
I'm going to that after this.